The Horizonte drifted silently through forgotten nebulae. Its engines vibrated like a weary heart. Captain Luna Boom adjusted the sensors, her eyes fixed on the anomaly that had brought them there, an uncatalogued galaxy, hidden behind a curtain of stardust. "Are you sure it's not a system malfunction?" asked Ivan, the engineer, his voice laced with skepticism. Luna didn't reply. The coordinates had arrived weeks earlier, encoded in a faint signal that had traversed light years. An invitation or a warning? The six-person crew was divided between curiosity and fear of the unknown. Dr. Eric, the archaeologist, was the first to notice patterns in the cosmic radiation, sequences reminiscent of ancient languages. "This isn't natural," he murmured, as he projected the data onto a holographic screen. Melissa, the biologist, collected samples of particles that floated like fragments of colored glass. "I've never seen anything like it," she said, almost in a whisper. The ship advanced, and the galaxy gradually revealed itself. Stars arranged in spirals that were too perfect, planets with atmospheres that shimmered in shades of violet and amber. On the bridge, Darim, the pilot, adjusted the course to avoid unstable gravitational fields. Her fingers danced across the controls, but her expression was one of unease. "Something's wrong," she said, without looking away from the monitors. The readings didn't match. Luna approached, noticing that the navigation systems flickered at irregular intervals. Before she could respond, a flash erupted on the screen, a supernova, but without the characteristic violent expansion. Instead, the light seemed static. The crew gathered in the analysis room, where Eric projected images of alien structures detected near the galaxy's core, truncated pyramids floating in orbit around a desert planet, connected by beams of energy that defied known physics. "It's a message," Eric stated. "They wanted us to find this." "Or it's a trap," Ivan countered. "What if it's a kind of archive? A cosmic time capsule?" Melissa questioned, fascinated. While they debated, the communication system emitted a strange noise, a sequence of pulses that repeated every 7 seconds. Luna recorded the pattern, but as she played it back, the ship's lights flickered, and a distorted voice echoed through the speakers. "You shouldn't be here." No one admitted fear, but the ensuing silence was heavy. Hours later, analyzing the logs, Eric discovered that the message didn't originate from space. It was embedded within the ship's very structure, like a buried memory. The decision to land on the planet of the pyramids was unanimous, though no one could explain why. Perhaps it was the promise of answers or the almost magnetic compulsion the galaxy exerted. Stepping off the ship, the gravity was gentle, the atmosphere breathable, despite the hostile appearance. The pyramids glowed under a black sun. Their surfaces reflected shapes that weren't there. Melissa collected sand that changed color upon touch, while Eric deciphered symbols that rearranged themselves as he observed them. It was Ivan who found the subterranean chamber. An organic metal door, without locks or joints, opened at the sound of his voice. Inside was a translucent artifact, pulsing like a heart. "Don't touch it," Luna warned, but it was too late. Darim had already reached out. The object emitted a low hum, and for a moment, they all saw the same dream. A civilization falling, stars extinguishing like candles, a silent scream piercing eternity. Back on the ship, the sensors began to malfunction in impossible ways. The crew's memories became jumbled, recollections of childhoods that weren't theirs, unknown faces, voices whispering in dead languages. Eric insisted the artifact was a key. Melissa feared it was a weapon. Ivan, pragmatic, wanted to abandon everything and leave. But Luna knew it was too late. The galaxy had changed them, and something, or someone, watched from the shadows between the stars. The object remained at the center of the chamber, its pulse synchronized with the ship's heartbeat. Darim recoiled, eyes wide. I saw their end," she murmured. "It wasn't a war. They destroyed themselves from within," Luna replied, ordering them to return to the Horizonte. But the return path seemed longer, as if the desert landscape was distorting. Eric frantically collected data, noting that the symbols on the pyramids changed according to the artifact's position in the sky. "It's a living system," he said, his voice trembling. "It's watching us." The ship, however, was no longer a safe haven. The corridors echoed with whispered voices in unknown tongues, and the control panels displayed codes none of them recognized. Ivan tried to restart the engines, but each attempt resulted in further failures. "Something is rewriting the ship," he concluded, sweating. Melissa, in the infirmary, analyzed blood samples from the crew. The cells divided in anomalous patterns, as if something was trying to replicate within them. "We're not alone anymore," she said, pale. That night, if there was night in that place, Luna dreamt of a tall figure, its silhouette oscillating between human and machine. It extended a translucent hand and said, "You are the first in ages. Choose truth or oblivion." She awoke startled, a metallic taste in her mouth. At the mess table, Darim avoided eye contact, while Eric scribbled equations on a tablet, obsessed. "The artifact's patterns match ancient Earth myths," he suddenly said. "The Tree of Life. The Labyrinth of Crete. They are metaphors for something greater." Ivan interrupted, annoyed. "Metaphors don't fix engines." But even he seemed more fragile, his hands trembling as he held a tool. Melissa suggested the artifact was using the ship as a host, integrating itself into the metal and flesh. "It's symbiotic. Or parasitic," she concluded. Luna ordered everyone to gather on the bridge, but the discussion devolved into accusations. Darim blamed Eric for insisting on exploring the chamber. Ivan accused Luna of prioritizing the mission over safety. Only Melissa remained silent, watching the stars through the window, or what remained of them. Some seemed blurred, as if the reality there was a peeling painting. Then, the communication systems picked up a transmission. It wasn't the distorted voice of before, but a gentle, almost hypnotic melody. Eric identified mathematical patterns in the music. An infinite Fibonacci sequence. "It's a map," he said, connecting the data to the artifact. The holographic projection revealed a planet on the edge of the galaxy, enveloped in a green aurora. "That wasn't there before," Darim said. Luna, however, felt a strange certainty. That was where it would all end, or begin again. As the ship approached the planet, the crew noticed the artifact had vanished from the chamber. In its place, they found a small metallic fragment engraved with a symbol identical to the one in Luna's dream, a spiral within a circle. Ivan wanted to destroy it, but Melissa stopped him. "It's part of us now." The planet's surface was a frozen ocean, crisscrossed by rivers of liquid light. Upon landing, they saw crystalline towers emerging from the ice, their shapes reflecting distorted versions of themselves. Inside the tallest tower, they found an empty room, except for a pedestal with a second artifact. This one, however, was dark and cracked. When Eric touched it, a flood of images invaded everyone's minds. The alien civilization not dead, but dormant, waiting for a catalyst. "We are the catalyst," Luna finally understood. The object in the ship wasn't an artifact, it was an embryo. And they had been chosen as its hosts. Before they could react, the ship sounded an alarm. Containment systems failed, and the artifact in the cargo bay began to expand, enveloping the Horizonteachu in a web of light and shadow. "It's transforming us," Melissa whispered. Ivan screamed for them to abandon the ship, but it was too late. The ice beneath their feet began to melt, revealing faces carved into the stone, human faces smiling sadly. In that moment, Luna knew there was no choice. Truth or oblivion. The galaxy wasn't a tomb, but a cradle. And they, willingly or not, would be part of the rebirth. The artifact expanded in concentric waves, dissolving walls and bodies in an explosion of light. Luna felt her skin dissolving into golden particles, each fragment carrying memories. Her childhood on Mars, the first order she gave, the taste of coffee she would never drink again. Ivan screamed, but his voice transformed into data, numbers flowing like luminous rivers towards the galaxy's core. Eric, for a moment, saw all the equations of the universe resolve into a single note, while Melissa understood that biology was only one of the many languages of life. Darim, hovering in an undefined space, realized the faces in the ice weren't sculptures, but records, souls trapped in a cycle of waiting. The second artifact, now reactivated, pulsed in harmony with the first, weaving a network connecting stars and shadows. "We are the bridge," Luna thought, or perhaps it was the artifact thinking through her. The frozen planet began to spin faster, its crystalline towers projecting holograms of civilizations dead for centuries. Wars, loves, discoveries, all reduced to patterns of light. Somewhere beyond time, The tall, translucent entity smiled. The seed had sprouted. And as the cosmos whirled, a new kind of light began to shine. Not from stars, but from intertwined consciousnesses, writing myths that only time would translate. Somewhere, in another dimension, the tall, translucent entity smiled. The seed had sprouted. And as the cosmos whirled, a new kind of light began to shine. Not from stars, but from intertwined consciousnesses, writing myths that only time would translate.